names in the media, and you can start to ask both American swimmers. There are some questions, please. Are you ready for the questions there?
It's interesting to me that the podium of people who weren't terrific on the first day in their relay splits, and I'm just wondering how you sort of all pull that together for the individual.
Well, I think as with everything, a lot of people have cobwebs in them that first day. I think I'm not sure about the other James, the guy who won. But I know for him and I, we hadn't really felt that kind of pain, really that kind of the full body shutdown that you feel in 100 freestyle since trials, and that was a while ago. So you get into that, you get to understand where your body's at, a little more intimate of an understanding of that, and you can kind of put together a little better of a race, second, third, fourth effort.
I think Nathan pretty much covered it all. I'm still kind of a rookie to the whole world circuit thing, so I got a little bit of rookie nerves when it came to that relay, and I kind of felt like I let everybody down. So I felt like it was my duty at this point to step up and show that I do belong here and I do belong with these swimmers, and I hope I did an okay job doing that.
Here.
Since the World Championships are on post-Olympic years, the Olympic champion in the 100 meters never won the World Championships after. Do you think there's a curse or something?
I've heard that. Actually, that's funny. I was talking to Peter, actually, about that. He was like, hey, after my semifinal, he was like, I never won after the Olympics. I think that is interesting. I think there's just a lot going on the year after the Olympics, and it is extremely difficult. I'm very impressed with anybody who did, repeat. I think it was who Matt did and Yannick did. It's very impressive, especially for all the obligations that they had immediately after the Olympics to get back on that horse training and have that kind of drive. And, for this group, it came down to a little more than a tenth. It was really who wanted it more, and James and James both got me that time.
Nathan, have you been aware of what James Magnussen's gone through in the last 12 months with some of the issues outside of the pool and some of the things brought up post-London?
Vaguely. It's a world apart, really. The Pacific Ocean's pretty big. I can only imagine what that kind of stuff is. And I couldn't imagine that it was easy. So for him to come back, that's very impressive, I'm sure. He had a lot to prove today, and he did it.
First there.
Jimmy, thank you for your comments on the mix zone. Nathan, I think back about you in Shanghai and about your growth and moving upwards. Can you compare what you've been through and learning how to race at this level to what Jimmy's going through here, please?
Yeah, I guess. It's not a direct parallel, though. It's obviously we're different people, we're different swimmers. I think Jimmy's really stepped up here in his first major international competition, whereas I needed a couple more experiences to really get to that point. I had been swimming an individual race at every major championship since 2009, and it took me until 2012 to actually medal on an individual level, and it took me until 2013 to medal at a world championship. So, maybe my growth curve is a little bit slower than Jimmy's at this point.
I don't think that at all. I think Nathan's he's always been at the top of his game, so it's an honor to be here sitting next to him, in a press conference like this.
There is another question for the American swimmers, for James. If it's the last one to the American swimmers, and
just to both the American guys, are you guys going to come to the Pan Pacs next year? Is that going to be your major race for next season?
Yeah. I'm excited. This guy's been talking up Gold Coast. Tell me what you said earlier.
Thanks, Nathan and James. You excused, and we stay with James Magnussen, the gold medalist in this event, the men's 100 meters freestyle. Well, congratulations, James. I don't know if the first 50 meters when you saw Morozov killing himself in 21.94? Do you worry or not?
No, I was breathing the other side, so I could only see Fabian Gillo. It probably wasn't until about 25 metres to go in the second lap where I looked across and saw Nathan and James, and I knew it was going to be a tight finish. But yeah, I didn't know they went out that fast.
Again, 100th of a second.
Yeah, it fell my way tonight, so I was very fortunate.
Questions to James Magnussen? First, second.
James, how different does winning this world title feel from winning the first one, and how different do you feel as a swimmer and a man for the experience that you've had in the last 2 years?
I think my first world title, I was quite inexperienced. I came into the meet with no pressure. They say ignorance is bliss, and you know that's so true. And I've learned that now after a few tough sort of meets. But this time around, it was a really emotional day and race. I've put a lot behind me in the past 6 to 12 months, and this is probably one of my proudest moments just because of what I've overcome and what my support team has overcome to get me here.
Third row.
What have you proven to yourself tonight?
I think that I'm a mentally tougher competitor this year. I had very similar results to the results I had last year in the relay on the first day. Last year those results probably rocked me a lot more than I allowed them to this year. I think my support team, my friends and my family have instilled a lot more belief in me and in my character, and I think there was just a lot more trust in what I do and what the people around me do. And you know, I think one of the biggest things for me this year was that the Australian swim team, both the swimmers and the staff, really helped me get through these last few days. Last year I struggled, and I struggled a lot on my own. My coach Brent and I sort of felt a little isolated last year, but this year the team got right behind us, and I felt like I had everyone's support this year, and that you know I was really representing a team that I was proud to represent, and I think that made my job that little bit easier.
James, how much has the extra racing you've done both in Europe and back in Australia helped you for tonight? Because obviously the time tonight was slower than what you swam at the Olympics last year, but all that matters is getting your hand on the wall first in these races. Yeah,
I think the racing experience this year was invaluable, and it's definitely part of my preparation that I want to continue and even build on in the next few years, getting as much international racing as I can. I think, you know, I know that I'm in pretty good form because of the lead-up races I've had, but you know, tonight might not have been as quick as I may have hoped, but it was certainly a race full of people that went out there to throw myself and a few of the other guys off our race plan. 21 point for the first 50 is almost unheard of, but because of that racing I've done, I was able to stick to my guns, stick to my race plan. And I think just that little bit of extra experience really allowed me to finish the race off this year a little bit more professionally than I did last year.
James, after the Olympics, a report was coming out saying that the atmosphere in the Australian swim team was so bad, also because you didn't handle the team, the athletes didn't handle social media really as they should. Was that a point for you? And did the team change anything on that subject?
It wasn't so much talked about as a team, but I felt personally that social media was a distraction for myself. I don't use it a lot, but I felt personally that any little distraction in this preparation was not necessary. So the moment I got on the plane about 4 or 5 weeks ago to come over to Europe, I switched off all my social media, and I don't really miss it. So, but I'll jump back on there once this is all over. But I think that was a great decision by myself in this preparation. And I think if other people were to follow suit, it wouldn't be a bad idea. But everyone handles social media in their own way. I think it's a distraction because it really brings in another element to racing. If you're on social media, you open yourself up to both praise and criticism. And while it's great to get some positive reinforcement when you're going into a meet, if you start getting negative comments on social media, it can be something else on your mind leading into a race. So I found it was just a better idea to take one aspect out of other people's control, and I'm happy with my decision.
One last question, if you want. Again, there.
What's your goal now in the 50?
I haven't put a lot of thought into the 50, but I definitely want to be in that final. And I think once you're in the final of the 50, anything can happen. And I think Floor Menadou showed that last year from lane 7. I think it's going to be one of the most competitive races of the meet, and there's probably one of about 6 or 7 swimmers that could win it. So I think the most important thing is to get through the heat and the semi and to put myself in with a chance. And then once you're in the final in a 50 metres, it's really anything can happen.
Thank you, James, for your interesting comments here in this press conference.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thanks, guys.